Good afternoon, audience. I request, can you come please closer? It will be a better interaction with us. Someone who's sitting at the back, can you please come a little closer? We are a little short of time. Maybe one of the panelists need to leave early. So the way we plan may be different. We have another person who had to leave, Mr. Bhatnagar, and for which we have a vacant chair. And this vacant chair is very easy for us. Any difficult question you ask, we'll post to this chair, and he can see the video and answer in the feedback that this video will be available. That's the starting point. In addition, one more housekeeping, we'll pose 2 quiz questions. That will be there, the answers would be there during our discussion. Whoever answers will get a gift from the organizer. They can collect once they answer the questions correctly. And our judges will be the panel themselves. Well, before we start, we need to define our purpose. The purpose is to live healthy in a cleaner environment. And our transportation activity has been very vigorous, and we have been abusing Mother Nature heavily. And we found during this process, the pollution becomes an important part, and slowly we decided in Paris Convention that we need to clean the earth, and e-mobility seems to be one of the main pathway to lead to our zero emission by 2070. With this purpose in mind, let us get introduced to our panelists. We'll begin with the person on my left. We would like to know which company they are working for, what is their current interest, and that will be, and what their hobbies are. In that case, we'll be able to connect them even beyond this session. Please start with our person on the left.
Yeah, good afternoon all. My name is Pramod. I am a Vice President and Global Delivery Head in Cyient. We are a 30-year-old organization. I particularly head the delivery for Automotive and Mobility Business Unit. Have 25 years of domain experience in automotive, worked in Harman, Bosch, Visteon in various leadership roles. Looking forward for a fruitful discussion.
Yeah, good evening, friends. My name is Manoj Gupta. I am EVP Business Head for EV Charging Business at JBM Group in the name of EcoFuel EV Charging Technologies. So at the group, we are doing a complete EV ecosystem development since our beginning, from generation to consumption. So as a business, we are manufacturer of electric buses. We are building EV charging infrastructure. We are operating electric bus fleet. And then we have our own battery plants. So combining and making all as an integrated EV ecosystem is our fundamental to make in India for the world. That is how we drive it.
Good evening, friends. My name is Vasu. I am almost 30 years in this domain. Initially, I was focusing on automotive on IC engine, and then later we moved to EV-related segment. I am working in Semitec. It's a Japanese semiconductor technology, which we are focusing more on temperature sensor. And we have started the plant in Bangalore. And my main responsibility is like bringing the Japanese technology to India and make the Make in India concept, also supporting on the EV industry. Thank you.
Good day, I'm Atul Srivastava. So I work on electric vehicle technologies in all the domains from e-mopeds to e-trucks. So all the technology and all the infrastructure for charging. So I work in those areas and try to understand what is happening in India. So presently I'm in Votary Softech as a VP.
Thank you, panelist. And as brief introduction from my side, I work for a company called ROHM Semiconductor. And in this conference, they are the e-mobility partner. ROHM has a purpose as well. It brings components for social cause by making high quality devices that goes into e-mobility, and that's the purpose we find, creating a social change, reducing pollution in the environment through high quality components. We have very little time, and that's why we made slight change the way we'll be discussing. But to set the stage, we would request Atul Srivastava. Can you tell us what is the present scenario of EV adoption in India? A brief overview for our audience.
Hi. So, what we want to go through, what is the adoption status, if you see. So basically, if you see that 50% of electric vehicles are same. So as your whatever your petrol or diesel ICE vehicles are there, and what has changed is the 50% of vehicles. It means what is new is battery is there, e-powertrain is there, and your DC-DC for all auxiliaries, and all the related software. This is what is changed and all. And in each of these domains, if you see a lot of R&D is happening. Like for example, if you see battery, there's a lot of, you can see that even today also what are changes are happening. Certainly the e-motors are there, what is happening in e-motors, what is happening in inverters, and what is happening in software and the DC-DC and all these things. So this is the technical aspect of all the electric vehicles. And the other aspect of it is that what is the charging infrastructure is required. So that I will go through that also. So first thing, what is happening, that why adoption is happening and why certain adoptions are having and certain adoptions are not happening. So for example, you take passenger vehicles in India, about 4 million electric vehicles are there, but less than 100,000 are there. Okay, electric vehicles in a year. So why it is not adopting? Because there are certain things that whatever users are looking for features. Okay, there are more and more features, and they are looking that okay, whatever is your equivalent ICE vehicles, that should be around 25 to 30%, not more than that. There should not be any range anxiety. Then range anxiety will come to the infrastructure, what is related for the electric vehicle infrastructure, charging infrastructure is there. So that's the reason. But if you see on the same side, if you see three-wheelers, they are already going to be, so whatever our original target, if you see for all electric vehicles, was to penetrate 30% by the year of 2030. That is the target for everything. And we'll see why certain vehicles adoption is faster. Like for example, three-wheelers are much faster because there for these vehicles, what is operational cost of anything whether it's commercial vehicles, that is what is the main thing there. But that may not be for the passenger vehicles or for the scooters. And that's why penetration, and by much before 2030, three-wheelers will become 100% electric. While if you see from a two-wheeler point of view, that about a million two-wheelers will be there, was there in 24 also. And but compared, you say 20 million. So we need to catch up 7x. So by 2030, we can go through something like 7x. At the same time, if you see all the e-trucks and LCV, for there it is much less, because newer and newer, say you can see for even for buses also, newer and newer buses are required, and that's why if you see even bus also is around something like 5% penetration. So if you want to penetrate, first thing, it is very important that the R&D should be very, very strong in the country. As a country itself, we are lagging in certain areas like power electronics, battery, software. These are the three areas that should be very, very, even for the motors also see a lot of things. So these are the 3-4 areas for R&D. So this is the first thing which is required for country. And incidentally, whether for charger or for electric vehicles, this is the same power electronics. So if you say silicon carbide MOSFETs are there, they are used for both and all. So first thing is R&D. That is very, very much. Secondly, newer models. Everywhere, just like you used to have like your ICE vehicles, for electric vehicles also there should be models should be there. and by R&D you can reduce even the price also, due to R&D also. So R&D is the main thing, and infrastructure is also one thing, because for electric vehicle it should be just like, say in my opinion also, ultimately if it should be same like a petrol diesel station. So it should be faster, it means battery should be faster, okay, even your charger should be faster, and there should be more chargers across the India. So you can say, so apart from R&D, newer models and introducing more and more vehicles. So these are the three things. So what we can do to penetrate faster? It is the same thing what we are just asking. So if you are targeting about 2030, like for example, we are talking about two-wheelers. So whichever two-wheelers are there, so they have to improve on the batteries, they have to improve
Atul sir, we'll come back to the barriers and what you can do later, but because Manoj sir needs to lead little earlier, we'll come back to you again, sir. Manoj sir is an expert from infrastructure point of view. And right now we have with you, sir, can you please give some perspective of infrastructure ecosystem in India and how could be developed? What are your recommendations and challenges before you leave for your flight?
So, before I go to the core topic of infrastructure for charging, let me share a tagline here. Let us all charge up together to create that infrastructure. What it means is there are so many variables, so many dynamics, and so many stakeholders. What is that requirement is to integrate each one of them. Second thing, infrastructure is a local subject. We cannot import it. We cannot copy it. We cannot follow it. What it means, for each country or in our side of country, for each state, city and even particular site, in itself is a P&L. So that shows how serious a planning to make sure whatever infrastructure we are talking about, how we are building. Third thing, e-mobility infrastructure is not like, we are sitting in city of Bangalore where we always think about software. So nothing wrong with software, but we need to understand e-mobility is not e-commerce. And the automotive industry, the most important thing is tangible, touch and feel. What it means is platforms, softwares, technologies, all those things needs to be driven in a tangible way. So what it matters? The people on ground skill. So for infrastructure, in my last 7 years for building this up in India, what is lacking is the people skill. 90% of the people, they want computer job. That is how we all have passed through this IT revolution, evolution, transformation. Okay? But fundamental we need to understand, to drive e-mobility is a ground subject, not a data room set. Okay? So we have to live that culture and mindset for our next generation to think beyond computer. Computer becomes like a mobile. So this is a message actually I'm trying to convey, because on the side of building this infrastructure, everyone is asking me, what is the biggest challenge? People, wanted to listen the same story again and again. Discom is a challenge, land is a challenge, this, that challenge. Those things are something which are business dynamics. And for any business, we need to manage that. That is our responsibility, to make that business sense out of any activity we do. But the fundamental thing which we need to take care, which nobody want to talk, is the people subject. And that is very strongly, I am sitting here in Bangalore, want to tell. We need to change the mindset of our next generation very strongly. Think beyond computer. Think in terms of, experiencing on ground. Come out from your comfort zone or looking for a job which is just a data room job. I mean, one need to create, mindset in terms of there are hundreds of job opportunity. Even I am today having more than 300 people on ground, which each individual we created with the upskilling. On what? You should know how to do the charging operation. You should know how to do the diagnosis of the charging operation. You should know how to do the program management. You should know how to do the operation management. You should know how to do the project management. There are tens of such jobs which can be created. So e-mobility, we have to see together, is an opportunity for all of us to create more job avenues in a different stream. And we need people. I'm sitting here telling that thing. But for that, that attitude is required to say, yes, I can do this. So this is first fundamental I mentioned. And just to make a conclusive thing, in India, ultimately from our side as a eco-fuel EV charging, we call it as TIP for this whole system. TIP stand for T for technology, I for business model innovation, and third I have already explained. So it becomes people, technology and business model. That is what is the game-changing mantra. We are using it from last 7-8 years and it will become a success. So center line of technology is how best we can localize our executional strategy, meeting our local environmental condition. We cannot simply follow sitting here some global standards. They are benchmark, they are reference point. But our environmental condition, our operating condition, our behavioral condition, our road condition, our city environment are a huge difference. So while copying something, we have to be sensitive in terms of making sure the parameters which are critical to us locally, we should be take care, otherwise be ready for the chaos on ground. Third thing is, this technology is a big opportunity for all of us. Again, our beautiful city, Bangalore, in terms of creating so many techie startups, it is our time. And I'm very, very vocal in the global platform even. This is India's time, the kind of scale, the benchmarking, the experience. The kind of even operation I'm operating and the execution which we have done, no other country has that benchmark. So in terms of testing, integration, validation, development, and the scale, the kind of experience which we are getting in India, no country can have. So this is a unique positioning for the whole world. We can create as a benchmark. So earlier I said we have to give reference to the global benchmark, but be ready to create India benchmark. We have enough data point. We are creating so much transaction every day, millions of data. We know what exactly ABC problem or ABC operation or ABC planning means. And this is something which nobody has. No consultant can give you that. So what it means, our last 5 years, we created a vision for 2025. Now we are creating our group vision for 2030. So this next 5 years is a golden opportunity for all of us to transform India, economy, business, and number of ways our position around the globe. And that is where we can show we are not just a good product or a people-driven country. We are a hub for design, development, processes, practices, which the world need to learn from us. And our Prime Minister is actually advocating the similar thing on behalf of us everywhere. So time to show our deliverables with ownership and responsibility. So happy to maybe after this or later on, I'm available for any kind of a help anybody need to understand this ecosystem, any sport, because we take this as my responsibility with our experience, our scale, our organization. How many more entrepreneurs or how many more businesses, how many more integration we can drive on ground. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, how much time you have here? You need to...
I have to catch a flight, so 4:30 should be my cutoff time, please.
Okay. I believe 4:30 and it's about 7 minutes. Anything, the important question is how our audience can connect to you in case some advices. What is the mode of connection?
Organizers have my email mobile. WhatsApp will be a best mode.
Okay.
Please introduce yourself, share the query, and definitely I will revert you back with my comments on it.
Okay, sir. So before you leave, what are the key recommendations in brief for an improved infrastructure or accessibility in India? Just a last one sentence before you leave our audience today.
See, as I mentioned, there are multiple stakeholders. For the operator or the developer of the infrastructure, the most important fundamental recommendation is the planning. The design and planning should be, done keeping in mind backward and forward integration. Because the EV ecosystem is evolving. The new standard, new product, new technology, new roadmaps are just evolving. There is something we can say it is finished. So it means we should be ready for something called technology risk, the system risk, the operational risk, in terms of evolution at various stages. So the planning should be your benchmark to address hundreds of variables which are not known today. So how you can do that? You have to doubly ensure in your business plan, in your development, how you can accommodate those factors so that tomorrow, example is today you have made your system keeping in mind say any X value of DC fast charger or particular standards. Tomorrow a vehicle which you have planned today with a 50 kilowatt battery or a 60 kilowatt or whatever size, tomorrow those standards or the sizing will keep improving. So how your system is scalable. So that is where important fundamental in terms of scalability of your platform in your planning is a must. Make sure it should be conventional system because lot much changes on our grid side, planning side, integration side is still happening. It is not evolved. Everyone is taking its own time to get that speed. So it means you have to work with them whatever way conventionally it is happening. You can't force beyond a limit. And on the forward side, charging is like a sandwich in between, right? So on the right side, there is a vehicle. So vehicle technology, vehicle demand, vehicle configurations, architect, lot much is changing. Nothing is freezed. We cannot say, I have a roadmap for next 10 years. Every year it is evolution, new application, new segments are evolving. So in all aspect, we should keep one thing in mind. This whole infrastructure piece is dynamic. How well we make sure accommodation at every stage with an end objective of your business return. Otherwise, there is no point of saying, I plan for this, it does not work, I don't know where to go. So this should be your first question.
Thank you, sir. I think it's almost time. We thank you so much, and maybe it would be right time for catching the flight.
Thanks a lot for the organizers and lovely audience and the panels.
Thank you.
Appreciate for giving me timely opportunity to speak here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Manoj. We would like to extend our sincere gratitude to Mr. Manoj Gupta, EVP of JBM Group. Can you please have it? Yeah. For his insightful contribution to this panel discussion. Yes, we would like to present him the token of appreciation. For that, I would like to request the Siva Prasad to join us on the stage.
Can we have a picture, please, with that momentum?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause as we congratulate his contribution towards the summit.
So there is a quiz question based on Manoj Gupta's speech. Anybody is there for tips? Abbreviation for tip? Technology, business and... No, not front rows. It's my choice. So many things I have seen. Okay, no, it's my choice.
Technology, innovation, and people.
Yep, please. We will give the gift. What is your name? You didn't tell the name.
Kumara.
Kumar, okay.
Yes, can we give a big round of applause to Kumar for answering the correct...
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll have another quiz question just at the end of this session. Please listen to our discussion carefully. It might be one of the winners. In addition to this, there'll be several other ball picking cards where you could be also a winner. Thank you so much. Coming back to our discussion, sir, I believe our whole evolution of EV charges with demand creation, where policy intervention has been a key factor. So we'll come on this point of policies, and we have a question for Vasu, sir. Coming back to new policy, the new version of that policy has come.
Purpose of the government was giving some initiative amongst initial FME, this thing for the front end, who planning to buy a EV vehicle. He has a kind of support on the financial side. But whole idea for the FME or policy related, we need to encourage more on local manufacturer, like Make in India approach, as also to improve, as he mentioned, Atul has mentioned, the R&D development also. See, is that enough for accelerating our adoption of the AC? Means of the EV vehicle, looks it's a bit challenging. So coming back to the policy related, the future policy, what we are trying to look for. Even I've discussed most of the time, last 2 years I was visiting a lot of EV customers and startup companies. Some of them, they showed the interest if the government supports in a supply chain related activity rather than focusing on the front end, even for material sourcing and security point of view. And for the initial, let's say, the buyer will get some kind of a discount or a subsidy from the government. But what I feel personally, for the more inclined of the policy side, even for buyer who wants to buy the EV vehicle in the bank loan or something system, it should be some kind of tax benefit system. That could be more supporting for the EV purchaser. And second thing, for the policy point of view, if you look at the manufacturer, we need to give kind of raw material security. Now, most of the raw material coming from our neighboring country, where they are dominating on the pricing sensitive side. So that has to be addressed in the government policy, where our Indian manufacturer, a supplier, can be safeguarded from the resource of material. And also, of course, the reusable of energy, and some of the mandatory for the reusing of the battery system, and also the infrastructure for the charging station. So this has to be some little of mandatory as a policy, what I feel in that point of view.
Thank you. I'll come back to Atul sir, but before that, we have a software expert, Pramod sir. I have seen your biography or biodata, and it really impresses me. But before we go, ADAS being an important factor, especially in Indian or global context, how ADAS is relevant in Indian context. Could you please brief us?
Yeah, ADAS is Advanced Driver Assistance System, right? So, and it has been there, when I was in US 20 years back, I started working on features like line departure warning, side object detection, these kind of products in the POC stage. And now more or less you see all those products in India in majority of the mid to premium segment vehicles. More or less rear view camera, if you have to link that to ADAS system, has become a standard feature. Surround view system is becoming like 360-degree view. Surround view system is becoming a standard feature. But majority of the vehicles are stopping at level 2 autonomy, right? Not going to level 2 plus or level 3. Because what is happening is all these systems need a lot of training, algorithm training, fine tuning, customization, which needs a higher level of technical experts, time, investment, and it just brought in and then fitted into the vehicle with some level of testing. And what happens is when you go beyond level 2, it is becoming more or less an irritation for the users, right? It starts beeping, it starts making noises that are a lot of false positives according to us. But in a US or a Europe market, it always makes sense. A 1 meter distance may be acceptable. In an India context, even 1 millimeter, they will say, why are you so far? Right? You can come closer. So that way some of these systems are not fine tuned, and that's where majority of the OEMs are stopping at level 2. And even from a user experience standpoint, level 2 is more than sufficient. For example, adaptive cruise control or the features that I mentioned earlier have become very popular. But when it goes to level 2 plus or 3, right, for example, highway driving pilot, all that becomes more autonomous, like automatic braking, all that, and that may not work in an India context unless they are fine-tuned, properly trained algorithm systems, right? And that still has a long way to go. So at least for even the latest Mahindra EV vehicle that they launched, which is a ground-up development, has only level 2. So level 3 has another, level 2 plus or 3 has another 3 to 4 years to go when we start seeing them in Indian roads. Yeah.
Thank you. And now I again come back to Atul sir. This morning we found Sunil sir talked about battery technologies. We'd like to have another perspective of battery technology. What could be the next generation technology, how this is coming, and we need to be very brief, about 4 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, so regarding battery charging, so first requirement is battery itself should be advanced. So there are across the world, if you see, there are advancements are happening that on 5 minutes about 200 kilometer range can be achieved. So one thing is because the way charging works, all commands come from vehicle side to the charger. Charger by itself doesn't do anything. Every charger is just a client. So for each vehicle, first battery should be advanced. So that is the first requirement. And secondly, the charger should be, as suggested, that it should be DC fast charger, should be the common for everything in India should be DC fast charger. And DC fast charger, why DC fast charger is required? Because if you go to, say if you are owning your electric vehicle now, how much you can wait for electric vehicle charging? Minimum you have to wait for 30 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. So suppose what happens in your petrol diesel situation? Suppose 10 vehicles are on the queue. So what happens in petrol diesel situation? Still if you are say on the queue, within 10-15 minutes you will get filled. But if it is say your electric vehicle going to a charger, every vehicle has to wait for 20 minutes. This is not acceptable. So those who are not thinking that okay, so ultimately whatever vehicles are there, if they see that okay, I am doing 20 to 80% charge in say 1 hour, this is not acceptable. Maybe today is acceptable, that is one. Second one is, there are many electric vehicle charger. If you see, you go to some 5-star hotel, there is one DAC fast charger is there, and everybody will put a photo, video, even Instagram, they will put see my, this will not work because in your hotel itself there are 20 people are coming there to charge their vehicles. If you are having one DC fast charger, this will also not work. So what is our future? That for every DC, for every petrol diesel vehicle, equivalent should be minimum 20 bays. 10 to 20 bays should be there, and they should support on average 200 to 400 kilowatt. Then only all the passenger vehicles and commercial vehicles and trucks can support. So this is from the charger point of view.
Okay, sir. We have about 10 minutes and we have a lot of interesting questions. I'll come back to you again. Now, the question to Pramod, what is your perspective, Pramod sir, or Vasu sir? Yes, cost plays an important role in especially four-wheelers. What are your perspective and recommendations in a very brief way, about 3 minutes?
Okay, thank you. See, basically now if you look at the government initiative on the incentive side, one day they are going to pull it out. That will not be there for a longer time. Now as a battery manufacturer, EV manufacturer, the cost is the main factor. If you break down the EV equipment, 30 to 40% of the cost is mainly on the battery side. So that battery is makes a very key role. And cost cut down means not directly just to reduce the quality of the battery. Actually, I've been there for Japan almost 20 years. I work with some of the Toyota, Honda, like who makes the design the battery system. And also I just gone through a lot of EV manufacturer in India. I could see the design activities totally is different. But in Japan, mainly focusing on like inside out approach. What is the minimum requirement of the battery, and then sufficient cooling system, and then structure. But in our case, it's opposite direction. We always focus on the external and trying to put out all the batteries inside and non-breathable type also. When I do a lot of discussion with R&D, I could see, as you mentioned, R&D is we need to improve a lot. Not only just mimicking some of the neighboring country design, which we need to develop on that area. Okay, coming back to the cost down, as I said, battery is the main. I think future cost cut down will be one of the things is from lithium battery to the we call it as a solid state battery, which has a high energy intensity and then longer time, faster charging. That is one. The second area also we have some kind of sodium lithium battery, which is a little bit low cost. And again, it depends on the categories of two-wheeler or four-wheeler we are talking about. And also the main important thing is how we are going to recycle and reuse the batteries. Especially on the lithium side, cobalt, we can extract those batteries from the raw material and from the used item and recycle it. Though that's the three this thing. And also coming back to the motor side, we need to adopt some of semiconductor technology for the motor for the efficient of energy development system. So these are the points I would like to highlight. And also the standardization. You know, as you mentioned now, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, we cannot wait. That's true. But how we can make it more standardized? The swapping battery. So all the EV manufacturer come to a common platform. Any battery can go to any vehicle. Then easily we can swap it and then just go faster than the gasoline filling time. That's my thought on that.
Thank you. I believe organizers could have given more time. We have two questions, 3 minutes, and I would like to summarize. We have time? Okay, very good. You might be knowing Pramod sir is from a background and he has connectivity at IIT, Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. He also is connected to the ecosystem of entrepreneurs as well as industry-academia relationship. And it's very important for some of the audience who may be from, who could be entrepreneurs or maybe from academic institution. What kind of feedback you have in terms of the technology adoption from entrepreneurs or taking leverage of the technology that is evolving in university system, your perspective?
Yeah, so coming to first of all technology through entrepreneurship, right? If you can refer to a case study of Numocity, right? They are a software platform provider for charging infrastructure. The company name is Numocity. My good friend Ravi is the CEO. It was recently acquired by ABB. And they are just 50 people, and whether it is Australia, Africa, Middle East, working out of here in center of Bangalore, run the entire infrastructure, charging infrastructure, and manage it from that control room, right? And it seamlessly works across multiple service providers. They have tie-up with major OEMs, major charging infrastructure providers, and a startup of 50 people, like how Israeli startups work, right? So that way, if you study that case study, that would be a good example of how to, anyways, take a problem statement, how to come up with the solution, how to pursue it, and make it a winnable proposition for all of the people, right? And how to work with ecosystem partners and bringing competitors together and make them accept some platform on a common ground is so difficult, right? And we are small players as startups, and these are big players like BP, Reliance and all. But they were able to bring all of those big companies together and accept this as their software platform. That also solves end user problem, right? End user problem is not having 10 different apps trying to connect to 10 different charging stations and work through it. You have one app that works across all the charging stations, and it works on subscription based, it works on, now they are even trying to UPI based, right? Now they are trying to even take out the UPI and make it more like it identifies based on your vehicle who the driver is as soon as you put a charger inside, and then it automatically charges to your UPI, right? That kind of automatic mechanism also they are trying to build. But that's the fundamental, right? Identify a problem, think from an end user perspective, create a solution that is seamless and seamlessly work across, bring ecosystem partners together, make collaborations and make it a sellable proposition, right? And I think it's just a 50 people company that is making a big difference, not only in India, across the world. So that is on the entrepreneurship side. On the academic side, see, there are three problems, right? One is job creation, and EV brings lot of, skill needs, whether it's in the manufacturing because you have more electronics, more power electronics, more high voltage devices. The traditional mechanical skill set people may not be aware of this set of products, so it needs reskilling. So I know, for example, RV College of Institute started EV Academy, right, with a tie-up with the private, again, another entrepreneurship company. And within their campus, they have started EV Academy in a similar direction to prepare engineers, to prepare service people, even looking at recycling, right? How do you handle this equipment? So all this is one set of contribution that academy bring in. Also, what we see is you don't have to have big innovations done, right? A small innovation which makes a big impact. And we see numerous examples. I said Numocity is one of them. Similarly, there are a lot of like battery swapping platform, right? If we create similar thing, or battery recycling mechanism, right? Battery license leasing mechanism. So if there are various platforms that work seamlessly across and there is a good business business model to it, I'm sure there are a lot of customers waiting for it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We like to have some forward-looking thoughts, especially for heavy and commercial vehicles. I'll come back to Vasu sir. What is hydrogen coming in aviation scale or trucks and heavy vehicles? What is your perspective? What could be the duration it will pick up your perspective to our audience?
It's Indian market?
Yes, especially in Indian market.
See, based on our understanding and study, we are a lot of in two-wheeler area. For the truck and then buses, those area, I think it's going to be another 5 to 6 years down the line on the coming to the market. Because again, there is a four-wheeler or heavy trucks, they are a bit hesitate to push in the EV industry coming to on the roadside. So now they're watching all two-wheelers things, but unfortunately or fortunately, the two-wheeler are ramping up very faster way, but somewhere it's scarce, and when we have some kind of a negative news on the two-wheeler catching a fire and those things. And again, for us, the behind four-wheelers are investing on that, but if you talk about the truck and bus, looks it's going to take some more 5 to 6 years down the line to get into the Indian market. But that Europe and other things is going very fast away. But in India, infrastructure-wise or maybe scarcity of our on the Indian side, it takes some more time, I believe.
Thank you. How much time we have for us? It's almost another 10 minutes. Shall we have another? We'll come back to the quiz question, but another part that is important. Regarding to Atul sir, we had a target that by 2030, there will be adoption of 30% of EV sales annual sales to be met. Right now, the adoption rate is something about 8 to 9%. What are the gaps in a brief way, and how we can catch up that target?
So regarding every EV vehicle segment, so we have to understand that what is the adoption requirement, what is the penetration requirement. So just like Vasu told regarding say bus and trucks. So for this actually there are technology available that there is something called as the flash charging, and they can be at the each bus station itself, it can be charged. Okay, very quickly when the people are boarding the bus, they can charge it and all. So if that kind of thing, then in that case there is a continuous usage of electric bus and all. So those kind of technologies should be used. Regarding if you're coming to say top to bottom, say for the two-wheeler segment, if we are talking about 1 million and we are targeting about 7 million, it means we should make, as we discussed, that okay, for battery size, whatever has been discussed and all, one very good option is there is make it as a lease, or government owns all the batteries. So what happens that okay, all the batteries, somebody should support batteries, so then two-wheelers will go very fast. So 7 million to 10 million target what we are having for two-wheeler. Three-wheelers are already more than 50% penetration is there, so three-wheelers don't need any support. For four-wheelers, same situation here also, because the kind of vehicles which people are, so if you see normal passenger vehicles, if it costs 20 lakh rupees, and if equivalent say petrol diesel vehicles are 11 to 12 lakhs rupees and all, nobody will buy. Okay, so we have to think differently that okay, what to do. One option is to, because battery is the costliest segment and all, if we have DC fast charger across everywhere in India, then you can reduce your battery even 20 kilowatt is, because there's a lot of data has been analyzed that 90% people use it only for 100 kilometers per day. That's what is their requirement. Then why you are so much bothered about range and all, and you want 60 kilowatt hour and 100 kilowatt hour? You don't want to buy Tesla. You just want, see, most of the vehicles, if you see, 50% is or 40% is the Suzuki vehicles. Okay, Maruti vehicles. What is the size of those vehicles? Why you are looking for bigger and bigger batteries? So if you make it DC fast charger, maybe 20 kilowatt is enough, that's way to reduce. So that is one idea for four-wheelers. Bus and trucks, for whatever decarbonization, whatever we are targeting and all, there has to be first focus on e-trucks. Almost nobody has focused on heavy-duty trucks and all, because we thought, okay, already everybody is happy with diesel vehicles, why change? But there is a change, because decarbonization target is 0 if trucks are not there. If trucks are everywhere, then you say no, don't enter Delhi in say trucks in Delhi or Bangalore. That is not correct. So now our whatever policy people should first focus on trucks, because there is some you can say headway for two-wheeler and a three-wheeler, something happening for four-wheeler, but nothing is happening for heavy duty. So this has to be done for this.
Thank you. We have one question for Pramod sir. One important skills that Pramod sir has is digital cockpit, navigation and connectivity, which are important ingredient to EV adoption. Before we end, what is your perspective on digital cockpit? And one comment I would like to add here, EV is a multidisciplinary area, and mechanical engineering plays an important role, especially, so the question is, in addition to mechanical engineering, digital cockpit, what are the skills area people should develop in areas of connectivity and cockpit?
Yeah, so it has two parts. One is the cockpit and the connectivity part itself. So, and Indian adoption, or how Indian market is changing. So more or less telematics is becoming a standard feature across all segment vehicles, because everybody wants to see how they are driving, where their vehicle, remote lock, unlock, these kind of features are more or less, and connection to their personal app, right, the app that the OEM gives. that is becoming a standard feature. And within the cockpit itself, whether IVI device and digital like 9-inch, 10-inch display IVI and a 10-inch display cluster or a hybrid cluster with the digital content, they have become standard. But where it is going is you already start seeing twin display, and Mahindra recently announced the 3 display, right? So in my previous company, I was lucky to be part of all those projects and delivered some of them in XUV 700. So I know the journey, right? It's not easy. It needs a lot of manufacturing skill, right? When we had to customize the display system, which we are importing from China, sending it to Japan, then bringing it here. It had a lot of logistical challenges, supply chain challenges, and when we customized also, it needs level 8 level of dust-free environment. So it needed people to be sent abroad, trained in manufacturing, full automation, right? It needs that level of reskilling. The traditional, not only the mechanical, even the traditional manufacturing people, because it becomes more automated, more dust-proof environment, more electronics content, right? So they need to be trained, and that's where it needs abroad training. Good part is they then start training the next level of people. It's the initial investment that has to come. That is one. And the second thing is, as I said, the displays, more number of displays, bigger displays, more digital content, app content, and personalization is another thing, right? So MG started with hey, with some name of the customer itself. That caught up with everybody. That car is now pronouncing my name or saying, addressing me, Mr. So-and-so, right? So these kind of personal connect, and more or less cars are also becoming personal assist. You have been driving for a long time, take some rest, order some coffee, right? You like this to eat, why not order this kind of food? Shall I stop for some, your favorite dosa corner is here, you want the dosa to be ordered, right? Reminding the driver on some of his personal preferences, giving those prompts, right? The car is acting like a personal assistant. So connectivity, digital content, larger displays, personalization features, and able to connect with the driver and his mobile and trying to give him the feedback of how he is driving. This whole thing is now coming together and is also catching up with the Indian audience. And mechanical guys, when they are contributing from a mechanical design standpoint, it's important that how the mechanical more or less is becoming mechanical plus electrical, mechanical, electrical plus software. So try to adapt to this changing environment, be multi-domain skilled, not just focus on small part of the whole car, but try to diversify your skill set and try to adapt so that you are more relevant to the changing times. Yeah, thank you.
So we're coming to a quiz question to the audience. As we mentioned, FAME policy was introduced by Indian government way back in 1915 as a national mobility mission. Our question is, what is the full form of FAME? F-A-M-E. Sir, we'll take somebody, the younger one. Sir, Kota sir, you take any of this speaker. There's multiple. Please be loud. Please be loud. Yes, full form of FAME. F-A-M-E. Is it correct?
And also it includes hybrid vehicles as well.
There one component was missing in your answer, sir. What he added. Well, what do you say, the panel? I believe the component, the first question had that component missing, one particular component. Well, we'll take the person, in my opinion, the right answer. Sorry, sir, because that particular, please, a gift for him. Now, we are almost at the end of this session. First of all, our gratitude to the panel members who, within a limited time, accepted our invitation. This panel's discussion was a proposal to the committee. I could not fulfill all my duties. I apologize. But at the same time, I promise you, with my heart in this place, will work towards understanding the adoption as well as how it could be made even better understanding for the people and connect together with the people with right expertise. And in the morning, we talked about integrity. Without integrity and expertise from different areas, we cannot make the right adoption. With this small note, I would say thank you, organizer, for giving us this opportunity to talk on this topic. We look forward to such session in the future, much more in a much more confined and focused environment. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. We have had an incredible day of insightful discussion and knowledge sharing. As we conclude the summit, we want to express our sincere gratitude to all the speakers and panelists who have contributed to its success. To begin, I would like to invite Mr. Sivaprasad Koka, our esteemed advisor and convener, to the stage to present token of appreciation to our panelists. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mr. Sivaprasad Koka. Yes.
Thank you, Meghna. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. There is one question keep coming to me. I have to ask. So there is a question from the audience. What is the perspective to EV manufacturing for converting existing ICE vehicle to EV? I think nobody has touched it. It's a good question, I believe. The question is, existing ICE vehicle, internal combustion engines to EV converting. Is it a good business or what is the challenge? I don't know.
So if I understand the question correctly, that how to convert existing ICE vehicles to electric vehicles.
Yeah, what is your perspective? So he's asking from business point of view, technical point of view.
So if you understand, technically if you see, it is feasible, very much feasible, and people have used same chassis.
Yeah, it's visible.
There are companies who have used same chassis for ICE vehicles as well as electric vehicles. So there is no change in chassis, and just it is possible. Only thing is nobody is working on that. No OEMs are working on that. But if you see, there are crores of four-wheelers and maybe more be 10 crore two-wheelers. Two-wheelers may not be easy, but four-wheelers can be certainly very easily can be converted.
Sir, if you permit me, I'd like to add few points. Sir, may I?
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Please, sir. It's your...
yeah. See, you're talking about hybrid model. In business perspective, it does not make sense because our goal is to go to green mobility. It's a short-term solution and which has not been planned in the earlier one. We have planned way back directly to EB. Had it been planned earlier, it could have been a small business case. Right now, probably it does not make sense in terms of cost and the return. This is my perspective.
Thank you. I hope everyone got it. I want to add one thing here. First of all, we are so grateful to Dr. Sukhendu Deb Roy. In fact, you have done a wonderful job. In fact, when you sent your proposal to the team, in fact, I am one of the part of the team. So I think you have done a wonderful job. And the moment you told about this panel and things like that, so we invited Atul ji. So he is again our mentor for this technologies. So definitely there are no hiccups, nothing. I think I'm sure everyone enjoyed it. Have you enjoyed it? Please give a big round of applause. Big. Thank you everyone.